Greetings, everyone, and welcome to your friendly neighborhood readermen. Welcome to Bad Reading, everybody. I am Atlas Novak. Here today with me is my co-host.
Bad reading, we are going to read bad things. My name is Daniel Grove, and I'm with Kyle. I forget your last name.
Daley.
Fuck, I forget the names.
I'm from Rhode Island, okay? We're all about Dunkin' Donuts. The only thing is we know it sucks. Like, the only reason why people go to Dunkin' Donuts is because it's the most cheap and convenient way to get the wrong breakfast order in the morning on the way to work, okay? Like, I swear to God, like, you'll go to Dunkin' Donuts, you will fucking order a goddamn sausage, egg, and cheese, and you will get, like, a fucking, like, cream-filled donut, but, like, it's sprayed everywhere inside the bag, and you don't have time to go back in for it, okay? Like, and I don't know what it is either. Like, we get fucking... Sarah, how excited do we get when we see Dunkin' Donuts?
Not at all.
Fuck you.
Yeah, if it wasn't already evident, and by his shirt if you're watching the video.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I wish, like, the 90s, so I could keep this joke going, I wish the 90s cartoon show had lyrics, but no, it was just Joe Perry playing guitar. That's all it was.
That's all it was?
That's all it was. I mean, obviously there was, like, drum and bass, but there was still,
Yeah.
like, it was Joe Perry.
I
so,
mean,
like,
wait, Joe Perry was Aerosmith,
yeah,
right?
yeah. He's the lead guitar player for Aerosmith.
Yeah, all right. Him and Eddie Van Halen get in a fight. Who wins?
Like, are we talking, like, who's the better guitar player
No,
fight,
no,
or,
no.
like, a fist fight?
Like a fist fight.
I
fist fight.
am
Ooh.
110% gonna go with Joe Perry. It's just the whole East Coast West Coast thing.
Yeah.
Boston Aerosmith is
No, it's like, I don't know, Van Halen, he never struck me as the
As a
physical type.
No,
like,
he
obviously, he
didn't.
had the dexterity with the hands,
Yeah.
of course, but the problem is the you look at any pictures, like, his wrists are skinny, man. Like, you can wrap a frickin'... He
That's
could
true.
literally put it's smaller than this coffee cup. That's how small that shit is. It's insanity.
Oh my
I
god.
would not mess with that shit.
I'm talking like both in their primes, by the way. So
Yeah.
Yeah, even in their
Obviously.
prime, Van
Yeah.
Halen was a
Yeah.
frail motherfucker.
Yeah.
let's just say Eddie struck me as the type of guy who was afraid to get his hands, understandably so.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But he just struck me as the guy who, like, took better care of his hands, I guess you could say, so he wouldn't want to, like, break them or whatever, you know?
He may not be able to win a fight with Joe Perry, but he can probably give his prostate a nice massage.
Definitely. We'll go
nothing
with that.
else.
We'll go with that.
Look,
We'll
I'll
go with
just
that.
say this right now. Slash from Guns N' Roses wins all.
Yeah, he does.
Game,
He does.
game over. We're good.
He does.
Now,
Yeah.
Slash from Guns N' Roses probably has like psychic powers or something that we don't know of.
That man just can That man can just summon the spirit of snakes all across the realm. I don't know where I'm going with this tangent, man.
I'm
It's
thinking
early.
of-
I'm still
It's the
like
top
half
hat.
asleep. Yeah, it's a top hat. It's a
hat.
top hat.
I'm
It's a top
thinking
hat.
of that episode of Rick and Morty with the snake plant now.
I don't watch Rick and Morty.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Never
I haven't
I'm
seen
sorry.
the new season yet.
There's a planet with snakes and it's fucked up and crazy.
That's pretty cool. I forget this season. Like they're doing like 50 something episodes, right?
what?
Is that the plan?
Seriously? I didn't know.
I don't know. I thought
I thought it was only 5.
They did.
Oh.
They did like 6, and then they're like, "All right, mid-season break," and now it's been so long, it might as well have just been
a new season.
a new
Oh,
season.
That's
you
the
know?
problem I have with Rick and Morty, honestly, is like every single season in between, it's like 2 years.
Yeah.
So, and it's like so many other things come out, like, oh, hey, new season of Stranger Things, or like new whatever on HBO or whatever, Watchmen, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like by the time Rick and Morty comes back on, I have totally forgotten everything that happened in the season before.
That's what happens in like most Netflix shows for me. where-
Right, exactly. But like, yeah, no, like for example, like the thing is though with Stranger Things, it's like I've seen the whole thing through twice, but that's just because I watched it once on my own, and then my girlfriend had never seen it, and she wanted to see what the hype was about, so we sat and watched the whole thing, the first 2 or 3 seasons once, and then we saw the most recent season once. But
See, I did that, but with Little Women.
The
The
book?
movie. The movie.
The
I,
book. Oh, okay.
I saw it once with my family, once by myself because it's a tour de force performance, and then once on a date because she was like, I want to go see it. I'm like, yeah, I've never seen it before. Totally.
typical
Yeah.
man lying just to get laid. For shame.
It wasn't- No, it's a really good fucking movie, and I'm the opposite of the target demographic.
All right.
I will easily go to bat for Little Women. All right, but today we are talking Spider-Man because that is what you requested, Kyle, and you wore a shirt for it.
Yep.
So, to people who haven't listened to this podcast before, how it's going to work is Dan and I are going to read this terrible fan fiction that we found back and forth. Whoever's not reading is encouraged to interrupt with jokes, stories, nitpicks as they see fit. And as always, we'll put the link to the full story in the description and or show notes for you.
They're usually very quality material, FYI.
FYI.
Beautiful.
If you listen to last week's episode about Curb Your Enthusiasm, it will lose.
You guys did a Curb episode?
Yeah, with Jessica Mulder, who, yeah.
I'm excited to listen to that one.
Because
I'm very stoked.
She wanted to do Seinfeld initially, and then you beat her to the punch on that. Yeah, he was in our very first episode. Yeah, that's how it works. But
I mean, all Curb Your Enthusiasm really is just Seinfeld with an R rating.
Yeah, it took me a while to actually find a Curb story because it was all Seinfeld stuff. And then when I did find one, it was the most like I don't always like to rip on a story just for the grammar, but holy shit, the grammar. It was like
I just want to say though, real quick, like just going off on a quick little tangent here. Like I understand for the past 3 years, everyone's been talking about how much they love Alec Baldwin's Donald Trump on SNL.
I hate it. I'm so tired of it.
I'm
bored
tired
of it.
I'm
Yeah.
He's tired of it.
But let me put it to you this way: I definitely like Larry David's Bernie Sanders even better.
oh, he's a great Bernie Sanders.
It's hilarious. It's I remember what was it 2 years ago they did the whole Curb Your Enthusiasm.
But it was with Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
and
Oh
Burn
my
Your
God!
Enthusiasm.
I don't want to shake your hand. You wipe your nose and you sneeze on it. I don't want to shake your hand.
And then he winds up losing the primary just
Yeah.
because of the 6 people at the very end.
That was great.
Oh, man.
All right, so today's story is from fanfiction.net. It's called Spider-Man's Marvel Romances by Cornholio4.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
A Beavis and Butthead fan, no less.
Exactly.
This is going to be highbrow stuff, ladies and gentlemen.
And then the description for it is new home for my drabbles and one-shots pairing Spider-Man with the various females of the Marvel Universe.
It's going to be very sexy.
And
This
then
should be hot.
yeah.
there's another addendum at the beginning. It says, since I have one for the DC Universe, I thought do it for the Marvel, especially since do it for the Marvel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought that's actually how it was phrased. It was like, I thought do it for Marvel.
I think he meant to say either do it for the Marvel Universe or I thought to do it for Marvel.
Oh, man.
I don't know. Who knows?
Look, if it's going to be similar syntax to all of this, I'm just going to talk like Yoda
Sure.
throughout the entire of it as I'm narrating. Just, thought I did for Marvel this.
Especially since later in this week I will be able to see Spidey's triumphant MCU debut in Captain America Civil War. This was written a long time
Oh, wow.
ago.
Clearly.
6 years ago? No.
Not
Something
that,
like that.
something like
Yeah.
that. Somewhere 4 to 6 years ago, I want to say. I can't
February
remember.
15th, or published April 27, 2016.
Right.
Sounds
Winter
right.
Soldier was 2014.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
I
which
think-
still
mean,
one of my top 5 MCU movies
Oh,
ever.
easily.
It's
easily.
a good movie, yeah.
Yeah, it's up there for me.
Luckily, us in the UK get it early. Yeah, I have
A
got
whole whopping day because of, time zones.
Yeah, I have got worldwide, in capital for some reason, the first paperback of the newest Amazing Spider-Man series, and I liked it, giving me inspiration for this chapter. Chapter 1, She-Hulk.
Oh, God. Getting straight into it with Jenny from the Block. All right.
All right. Looking forward to her MCU debut, by the way.
Yeah, when is that going to happen?
I don't-
I want it to happen at some point soon because
I-
she's the perfect superhero to throw in there.
Is
I think
she
she's.
gonna
I think
be
she'd be better than a
Professor
Black
Hulk?
Widow. Professor Hulk.
You know how, where he's got the glasses, but he looks like Hulk? Are they going to do that with her?
Well, that's how she always has been.
Well, my thing is, it's just I hope because it's pretty much all but 100% confirmed that Ryan Reynolds is coming over to Disney to continue Deadpool.
Why?
Of course.
What do you mean? Why?
Okay.
I don't
So
want any.
the point of
wait,
Deadpool
hang
is
on.
that it's R-rated.
Right, I
Yes.
But he's
understand
going
that,
to Disney.
But here's my thing, so other than Spider-Man, I'm a huge Deadpool fan, and the reason why I love Ryan Reynolds so much is because way back in the day, I think the author was Joe Kelly. He was writing Cable and Deadpool, and there's one issue.
Deadpool is such a good
There's
franchise.
one,
I love it.
Yeah, it was great, but there's one scene in it where Deadpool rips off his mask. He's all scarred and disfigured, and he goes, "I look like a cross between a Chihuahua and Ryan Reynolds." Or something like that. So
Yeah.
it's pretty much like the only other person in Hollywood I want to see play Deadpool is me.
Yeah.
But that's never going to happen because number one, I am too lazy to get that ripped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's like me with wanting to play Gambit, man. Like I don't want Channing Tatum to play that character, man. I want to be the Raging Cajun. I just
Right,
have to
exactly.
actually get jacked in
yeah.
order to do it, man. I
Right.
don't want to do that.
Gambit was always my favorite X-Man.
He was up there for me. He's up there with like Beast and Jean Grey as like my favorites. And then of course I mean, Magneto's my all-time favorite comic book character, but I don't know if I consider him an X-Men or not. I know
he's been on the team several times, but it's like.
But it's like, is he technically an X-Men, or is he more just?
I mean, if
that prominent of a figure in the universe.
I don't know.
I would count him as that. Have you ever seen Pete Holmes's like sketches where it's like
those are hysterical?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The one where,
I would throw my card.
Yeah, where it's like Thomas Middleditch is Gambit, and he's like, I got my playing cards, and he drops them.
No, the best one is when he says is when he's interviewing Wolverine, and it's like, really, our arch nemesis is the guy who controls magnetism, and you're made out of metal.
What are you going to do? I'm just going to run at him. Yes,
yeah, okay.
You're going to run at him.
I also liked the ones where he did like Street Fighter.
Yeah, Street Fighter Red Tape.
Oh yeah, those were hysterical.
That was actually my first introduction to Pete Holmes because like I'm a hardcore Street Fighter fan.
I'm a Mortal Kombat guy.
Smash Bros.
Smash Bros is great.
I mean, look, I play Marvel vs. Capcom competitively. That's my main game.
Oh no, they're great games.
They're great
Don't
games.
get me wrong, but it's just like for me, it's like
it's the aesthetic of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, it's the blood and the violence.
Yeah, I respect that.
Plus,
that.
Like
fatality.
My main was and will forever be Scorpion.
Okay.
Yeah, so get over here. Like that's it. I heard that and then I was done. Like I was hooked.
I literally can't think of Street Fighter without. There's like. So I have a group chat with Dan and Nick. The reason Nick isn't here, I'll explain later. And Max Maletti, who you heard on our Queen episode, where
I like Street Fighter.
we just send
such a bad
Seinfeld memes to each other. And my favorite one that I've ever put in there was it's Jason Alexander, and he's like pissed off in front of a TV with Mortal Kombat on it. And it's like, he nerfed my main. my main, Jerry. Like,
damn it, Ed Boon.
Oh, God.
Shit.
So, all right.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, swearing aloud on this podcast?
Yes.
I mean, I said
it is.
motherfucker like 5 times in the first 5 minutes, so
Okay.
you're more than cool.
I didn't pick up on that.
That's
I'm
good,
just so
you're
used
good.
to hearing that word that like it's just.
I use like fuck as a placeholder. It's like,
that's what I say instead of That's my
I just use that for commas.
Yeah. Hey, what the? Hey, how's it?
Hey, fuck. Dear Dan, fuck.
All right. Jennifer Walters, better known as the She-Hulk, lawyer, member of the Avengers, and cousin of Bruce Banner, the Incredible Hulk, and the best Hulk of all in her mind, especially better than the last one, Amadeus Cho. Right, I'm gonna miss some of these references.
Yeah, no, I know.
I
know what he's
certain ones I'm definitely.
I haven't actually sat. Disclaimer: I haven't actually sat down to read an actual comic in a while.
Same.
Yeah.
But I do have friends that like still read it. So like it's kind of like the way I am with the WWE. Like I don't really partake in it that much, but like I kind of do it vicariously.
Right.
And like I just do I remember like around the time Amadeus Cho became the Hulk is kind of when I like dropped off just because life got in the way and everything like that. But I do want to get back into it and everything. But yeah,
I forget. Is Amadeus Cho the Blue Hulk or is that the?
It was a weird thing. Like this was like so back in like 2015. Marvel decided to pull a DC and reboot their universe.
I remember that. That's where we got Lady Hulk. We got Falcon as Captain America.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But
they're trying to give Cap a boyfriend.
Yeah. It's just
that whole fiasco.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's like then they changed. It was weird because like certain things like still carried over, like for example, like before the events of what do they call it?
Hellfire Club?
No. Hellfire. Oh, what was it? Because they reused the. It was like a big. They recycled the name because it was a big. It was like the first major crossover event in the '80s.
AVX? You talking about?
No, that was a long. That was more.
Oh yeah, wait, that was like 2012.
I'm talking like the '80s. I'm talking. What was it called?
Oh my God.
Secret Wars.
Oh,
that's
right,
what it was.
Right,
yeah,
right.
they basically did like another Secret Wars where like Doom split and smashed all the multiverse together or whatever, and like basically what happened was like certain things carried over. Like I remember at this time, because of the events of Superior Spider-Man, Peter Parker was running his own multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. He was richer than Tony Stark, which, by the way, I hated that just because I love this. Like, I always feel like Spider-Man is supposed to be like
ghetto,
the everyman.
Yeah, he's the hometown hero.
Not necessarily ghetto, but like it's definitely more hilarious when he's complaining about how broke he is.
Yeah, it's like the working class situation.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
and it's a more humble experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Man.
Like, don't get me wrong. I love Tony Stark. I love Bruce Wayne and everything like that because. I mean, the one thing I love most about Tony Stark, particularly, after Robert Downey Jr. took over in the role, as how much of a sarcastic prick he became.
Yeah.
Like before, he was just like a regular prick. Now he's a sarcastic.
Now I can't
prick.
remember. Was Tony an alcoholic pre or post Downey Jr. taking over
Pre.
the role?
Well,
That was
well pre. Yeah.
And like the thing about Spider-Man is that those powers are better suited to like smaller scale stuff.
Yes,
In
and
a way.
no, I would say. Well,
I mean-
you got to keep in mind he can still lift a New York City
Yeah.
bus.
Yeah, but I'm
And-
saying like
And for those who just like don't have any comparison, like picture one city bus attached to another city bus. That's how big New York City buses are.
yeah.
Yeah, like they're bigger than
No,
the ones out here.
I-
Like,
Imagine imagine the London double deckers, but
Yeah.
compressed into one unit, while
Well-
retaining the same weight. That is a New York bus
Yeah.
right
yeah,
there.
well,
But
it's because it's literally like you have the bus,
Yeah.
and then you have another bus attached to it. It's
Right.
almost it's more like a train.
But I'm saying that like that's still like who cares if you can lift a New York City bus?
I mean, if
it's
you're like
like
trying to
space
compare,
lasers
look, if you're
and
trying to
shit.
compare it to like
Right.
the power levels of like Thor or like the
That's
Phoenix
what I'm
Force,
saying.
Oh, yeah.
or like
That's-
Captain Marvel. Like,
that's
yes,
like
of
bigger
course.
scale.
Well,
Yeah.
like it's one of those things though too, where like one of my buddies, we kind of laugh like when the Avengers take on somebody like Thanos because it's like, why are you here, Cap?
Yeah,
Like, why
that,
are you here? Like,
that.
don't get like I don't want to arm wrestle Captain America, but one-on-one boxing match between Captain America and Thanos, I will put every dime down on Thanos.
Yeah.
like,
But,
even
like-
without
Yeah,
the
well,
gauntlet.
here's the thing,
even
like-
without the gauntlet.
Well, remember in Infinity War when like Cap managed to like just fight off Thanos with a huge freaking spear and like they're duking it out against one another? I'm like, how is Cap able to go toe to toe with this? But Thanos also managed to throw around the Incredible Hulk like a rag doll in the beginning of
Well, because
Infinity
they
War.
kind of established like early on, like Thanos is like a cat in those movies. He likes to play with his
okay.
he likes to play with his meal for his. Like remember when he's taking on the Hulk, Ebony, like I can't remember the name of the big hulking dude.
Oh yeah,
But like
I'm lost
like
on that one.
Ebony Maw was like let him have his fun.
Okay,
And that's when he beats the shit out of the Hulk
okay.
at the very beginning of Infinity War. But anyway,
Okay, so right now she was in a business suit walking through the offices of the Parker Industries building. Her boyfriend Peter.
the error I was talking about, I don't like.
Her boyfriend, Peter Parker, whose secret identity was her fellow Avenger Spider-Man, who was also officially, to the public, Peter's, quote, bodyguard, had hired her to be the head of the company's legal team. Yes, Peter Parker had made it big as the head of his own company, managing to turn his life around from the poor freelance photographer.
He didn't do that. That was all from the story arc when Doc Ock took over his body.
Right, because in that moment in time, Doc Ock like it basically took over the body and he gave him the genius level intellect that he had.
Well, he already here's the thing about Spider-Man. Like this is something I know. Somebody complained about this in the MCU movies, which this is a whole nother thing. But like he didn't. I know somebody who doesn't like the MCU movies because, quote, Peter Parker's a dumbass basically in these movies.
He's a little bit of a
He's
dumbass.
always
He is a
been a
little.
dumbass,
He's always
though.
been a little bit of a dumbass.
mean-
but he's like Peter Parker's supposed to be a genius. That was his argument. I'm like, he's 16.
Yeah. Even,
I don't care how high your IQ is. You're a 16-year-old kid. Like you're still gonna be a dumbass.
You're gonna
Like,
have the naivete behind your
Yeah,
freaking
exactly.
mind, you know. You're not gonna just be like, "Oh yeah, I'm
I
a
scored a
cerebral
1080
psychologist,
on the SATs.
and I also have an amazing social awareness." That doesn't work.
No, exactly. And it's like, what is it they say? Like, haven't they said like the higher your IQ? Aren't there like some studies that say like
Yeah,
the
it's like the higher your
IQ,
IQ, the
less
lower you-
social,
yeah,
the
the-
less like EQ. You
the most
have.
likely you are to be on the spectrum, basically.
or the more likely you are.
Yeah,
to be on
sorry,
the spectrum,
yes,
the higher
yes,
you're-
yes, yes.
Wait, so basically, if you have social awareness in high school, you're getting bullied in high school.
In a way, yeah, because
No,
you're.
social unawareness in high school. I thought.
Well,
And-
no, I mean, if you have the social awareness to, like, be that self-aware, it's sensible by other people, and they're like bullying you for stuff.
Here's the thing: when you get bullied in high school, you tend to build. You go one of two ways. You either become like a total like I hate society, fuck all these people, you're a piece of shit, or you gain all of the empathy in the world because you understand what it's like to be in that position of like being ridiculed and being put down in life. And in that end,
Depending on the bullying.
Depending
there's,
on the
like,
bullying.
different types of bullying.
yes, I
and
mean
stuff.
obviously if you're getting beat up every day, your main goal is like, all right, I'm gonna get jacked and then beat the shit out of the bully that was beating me up.
Right.
That fuck.
Or shoot up the school, as
Yeah.
dark as that is.
Unfortunately, that is now an
That's-
alternative.
Yeah.
That is
Has
just
become way
all
too
commonplace.
common. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to Jenny and Peter fucking.
All right.
Um,
Wait. What I want to know is, it's like because she can actually control her transformations.
Yeah.
Is she like? And it's weird too because like I've read issues of She-Hulk, which I can't remember the author, but like there was one stretch of She-Hulk that was actually really good where it focused more on her being a lawyer than a superhero,
Yeah.
which I actually have started to grow more fond of those kind of stories. Like, one reason why I liked the movie Joker was because it was a comic book movie that didn't feel like a comic book movie.
Exactly.
And like, and for me personally, I liked that a lot, and I wish DC and Warner Brothers would continue to go more in that direction. I mean,
Instead of trying to make everything a universe.
yeah.
just-
Well, I mean, I don't hate the idea of DC making their own shared cinematic universe in order to compete with Marvel. I'm all in favor of that. I just wish they weren't trying so hard to catch up to Marvel. I wish they did.
Yeah.
I understand that they were like 4 years behind the 8 ball when it happened, but I still think that if they just took the time and did what Marvel did and just said, you know, here's Man of Steel,
Yeah.
here's a Batman movie, here's a Wonder Woman movie, and now they're teaming up, here's a Justice League movie, that would have been fine instead of here's Man of Steel, here's Batman versus Superman, we're going to sprinkle some Wonder Woman in it, and now here's a crappy Justice League movie.
I mean, the Wonder Woman movie was pretty good.
No, it
but-
was pretty good, but it's like it was unfortunate for me, and like I've seen both that movie and Captain Marvel twice. I didn't like Captain Marvel as much the first time because I was so confused as to what was going on. But the second time I saw it, like, I mean, granted, you know, hindsight, like I already know what's coming, et cetera, et cetera. So, something about it just made more sense to me, and I think part of the reason why I was so confused when I saw the movie for the first time was because she's confused the whole time. So it's like it's kind of like, you know, I'm supposed to be her, or like I'm seeing the movie through her eyes. Kind
My
of.
problem with both those movies, to me, is that I remember watching them in the theaters, enjoying them, being like, all right, these are solid flicks. But
Can't
goddamn
remember
it,
anything
I can't,
about
I
them.
can't give you a single detail about what the hell was going on throughout the entirety of it. Like, I know, like, obviously Captain Marvel had, like, the Kree moments, and, of course, like, what's his name?
All I remember is the setting.
Yeah, the
Right.
setting, it's
Captain
like,
Marvel's in the
space.
70s.
She goes binary.
Captain Marvel's in the 90s.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
Dude, they
it's
didn't have
90s.
Blockbuster back in the 70s.
I thought they did.
No,
No, they didn't.
Oh.
No.
no. But I know Carol went binary near the end of the movie.
Right, and like the biggest complaint I have about both those movies, and like just basically about superhero movies across the board, is they always seem to have such a hard time sticking the landing.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like once she went binary, or you know, for those unfamiliar, that she went Super Saiyan, pretty much.
Yeah, that's basically the MCU
Like,
equivalent.
there's
to
no
Super Saiyan.
stakes. There are absolutely, and like that was my problem with the character of Captain Marvel in not Infinity War, but Endgame.
Yeah.
She was just a Deus Ex Machina by the end of it, and like,
Pretty much.
look, I get it. Like they're trying to make
She's
her
a Deus Ex Machina at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it was like that's all she, and like it just annoyed me personally because like Marvel and Kevin Feige, they spent all this time trying to hype her up as to be like, she's gonna be the next Iron Man, she's gonna be the new face of this franchise, and she doesn't do jack.
Yeah.
She literally just shows up at the beginning, then gives some very glib reason as to why she's not on Earth,
And then she's
and then
like, all right.
and then just doesn't, and then we don't see her again for another 2
Yeah.
hours,
Yeah.
and then
like,
she
all
just
right.
shows up just in time.
She's like, all right, I gotta go patrol the rest of the universe right now. I'm better than just planet Earth right now, you
Right,
plebes.
and I
And
understand.
I'm like, all right, that's very
and
Brie
I-
Larson, cool.
It is very.
I'm sorry, that was a bad
well,
jab.
I mean, like some people are like, no, it totally fits the character.
No,
I'm
it
like,
does. It does. The
fit
casting choice
ca-
was brilliant for it.
No, the casting choice was brilliant, and the like, I get it. Like, she is a cocky bitch from Boston,
Yeah.
which by the way, still mad that she didn't do the accent.
Yeah.
Still mad she didn't
You
do the
guys are
accent.
you guys are both from that area.
Yeah, we
yes.
Yeah.
I grew up around Foxborough, which is where the Patriots play. It's like about 20, 30 minutes outside the city.
are. I grew up like maybe about
Yeah.
a half hour, 45 minutes away, depending on the traffic.
Where the Pawtucket, where the Paw Sox. yeah.
Pawtucket.
Sorry.
Pawtucket.
Pawtucket. My bad.
Pawtucket.
My bad.
I'm not
my
gonna
bad.
lie. I get mad every time they pronounce it Pawtucket Brewery on the Family Guy. I get so mad every time.
I'm a sad little California boy, so that's
All you need to know is that Pawtucket is where they have a minor league baseball team there called the Pawtucket Paw Sox.
The Pawtucket
I
Red
know
Sox.
about them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're going to Woonsocket.
Oh, they're moving the Woonsocket?
They're going to be the Woo Sox. Yeah,
The
thank you.
Woonsocket?
Yeah,
what?
yeah. So
Are they still going to retain the polar bear mascot or no?
probably, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh
They're
my
still going
God.
to, yeah. So pretty much, it's like, so there's Pawtucket, which is where the minor league team, the AAA ball club for the Boston Red Sox, has been since forever. In fact, it's the home of the world's longest professionally played baseball game, 33 innings.
There's a book I
Kinda
read
nuts.
called Where Nobody Knows Your Name, and it's about like minor league baseball players and umpires and stuff. Go check that shit out. It's cool.
Right, but now long story short is the team ownership of the team traded hands, blah, 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 blah. Rhode Island sucks when it comes to keeping business in. They really do. They're terrible.
Facts.
It's
Hardcore facts.
It's why I left.
Look, Rhode Island is a great place to go and drink and get hammered. It's a beautiful city. I love Providence.
Oh,
See,
but
when you say that the team changed ownership, the first thing that popped into my mind was, is it the bitchy girl from Major League who tries to like tank the team's performance? And then that's how you get
No.
Charlie Sheen and Tom Berenger
It
and
was-
Wesley Snipes.
We're getting way off topic here, but
I know.
To sum
I'm
it up
sorry.
real quick is
I know Atlas
basically
wants to read the story.
ownership changed hands. Ownership wants to move the move the stadium, which was in a good spot to begin with.
This sounds like Rachel Phelps.
to a
That's
much
all I'm
more
saying.
congested area. The state didn't want to do it because something similar, like a few years ago, Kurt Schilling, former pitcher for the Red Sox, opens up a
And the
video game.
Phillies. Yeah.
Opens
And
up
the
a video
Phillies.
game. Opens up a video game company. Video game company tanks. Rhode Island very reluctant to do anything business related. Give them tax cuts because
Oh my god.
that video game company tanked after 1 year. State still reeling from it. So Paw Sox owner wants to move the club, build a new stadium. Nobody wants to pay the fucking taxes. Woonsocket, Massachusetts, which is like another 45 minutes northeast of there, says, no, come to us. And then there you go.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's the summation of it.
Oh, what
Bad
was,
rating the baseball podcast.
Yeah, wait. I forget. Just what was that video game company called that Kurt Schilling ran?
38 Studios.
38. Thank you. It had Kingdoms Amulet, and then they were going to make an MMO that just completely fell apart.
Right. Well, it's because that's what happens, when
Yeah.
you give a guy who did nothing but throw fastballs for 20 years a business.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Some more Jenny.
So hired his bodyguard, hired her to be the head of the company's legal team. Okay, yes, Peter Parker had made it big as the head of his own company, managing to turn his life around from the poor freelance photographer he was when he first became Spider-Man. Of course, he would not have the company if it was not for the mistakes of his life Dr. Octopus had made when
Okay, so they apparently I cut off too soon. Continue.
way back there, 20 minutes ago, when he was the superior Spider-Man. But still, he took what he was given after getting his body back and turned it into something good. People did their best to ignore the green-skinned tall woman with the physique of a bodybuilder. Right now, you okay?
It's just, I just love that description. Green skin bodybuilder. I'm like,
What I'm curious to see where this goes is like she actually has a history of dating, of all people, Tony Stark
yeah.
and the Juggernaut.
Oh,
That's right. She has banged the Juggernaut.
She has been
Yeah.
the Juggernaut.
The only one who could maintain the Krynak. Was it Krynak? Is that how you pronounce
I
it?
don't
Yeah.
fucking know. Like it's like there like it took
There's a
it was,
comic book nerd out there somewhere going, "You guys are getting this all wrong, goddammit!"
I didn't know how to pronounce T'Challa until I saw the
Yeah.
movie. So
Right now, she entered her office in the building and sat down, sorting out the papers she had brought with her. A few minutes later, she smiled as she saw her smartly dressed boyfriend and employer, Peter, walk into the room and asked, "So how is my favorite gorgeous, super strong lawyer doing?"
okay, that is
That entire sentence had no commas in it.
well, I was gonna say that piece of dialogue is up there with "I hate sand."
Yeah. Oh, my God.
How is my super strong lawyer? Like, that could not be more pro-feminist of a statement than
Right,
anything else. I'm just like, this guy is clearly trying to be like, I'm an ally to women, guys. Don't worry. I made her look as positive as possible.
I'm
like,
a
jeez.
feminist. Suck my dick.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
It's like dripping in, like, unnecessary exposition.
Yeah.
Like, just blood from that chicken breast that you got and pulled out of the fridge too late. Ugh. All right. Gross.
Just plattering on your table.
Oh.
Like you're
Alright.
trying to season it.
Jennifer smiled as she got up from her desk and then put Peter into her strong grip and kissed him. Hope this is not just you trying to get a raise. Peter told him with a
Peter
smirk.
told
Peter
him.
told him.
Okay.
I
Whoa.
assume
I assume that
I
was
assume
supposed
it's
to be her.
her,
Yeah. Yeah.
but still.
I mean, hey, it's 2020. Maybe
We're progressive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
progressive.
with a smirk as she let go and she
Or excuse me, this was 2016. Go on.
as she let go and she patted him lightly on his shoulder with her finger, which still stung a little to Peter. There are no commas, motherfucker. Okay.
Would you rather have that or have like a misuse of the comma splice?
That was the Curb. That was
that was the Curb?
That
It was the
was
opposite.
what
It
was
was-
going on in the Curb episode.
It was
yeah,
just it was an X. It was like a comma every
many
other
commas?
word.
pretty much. Everything is just fine, Mr. Parker, sir, Jennifer told him with a smirk to herself. I've been finalizing everything of the deal between Parker Industries and Alchemax. Harry called from the Baxter building of the arrangement to get the walls fixed, and everything is all right.
Harry Osborn?
Yeah, is that supposed to be Harry Osborn?
I'm guessing.
That
I mean,
Wait,
they're
hang on.
Okay.
Jennifer told him, and Peter smiled of his friend Harry Lyman. There you go.
Harry
Oh,
Lyman. I
okay.
don't know Harry Lyman.
Previously known as Harry Osborn before he had his name legally changed to dissociate himself from the infamously insane criminal father Norman Osborn.
So he's not Hobgoblin in this timeline, is what we're
Green Goblin.
Well, no,
Well, no, is it? Doesn't he go by
No,
Hobgoblin?
no,
Is he
because
by
he was-
Hobgoblin?
Norman Osborn is the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
And Harry-
Originally is the original Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Then Harry takes the Hobgoblin was just no.
I think
his
you're-
name is Kingsley. I can't remember his first
Oh
name.
no!
Okay.
In the Sam Raimi movies, he's
Yeah,
the
he
Hobgoblin.
he
Yeah,
became
yeah.
no because I remember this action figure. It was the New Goblin, which is even worse.
That's
which is even worse.
Boo!
Boo.
oh man.
Like, I mean, it'd have been one thing if, he took over the moniker of the Green Goblin or, because, push comes to shove when it comes to comic book movie adaptations, I tend to favor or side with accuracy to the source material. But I'm okay. So all I'm
Yeah.
trying to say is, if they decided to make James Franco's Harry Osborn the Hobgoblin in the Sam Raimi movies, I would have been okay with it. New Goblin is just terrible.
That
or
entire
Goblin
third,
Jr., as Peter puts it.
that entire third movie is just ridiculous.
Well, there was no need to
it's
add Venom.
so magic.
There was no need to
They
add Venom.
they didn't need to tear Topher Grace away from that '70s show to be Venom. Who, by the way, Eddie Brock is supposed to be ripped.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Topher Grace is a skinny little fucker.
The
you know?
thing-
if only they discovered Tom Hardy at that point.
well,
when they were
geez,
making the
Tom
movie.
Hardy was a sperm at that age.
Was he?
He's young. He's
Is-
20, dude.
No
He's
way.
un-
No.
He's under 25. I'm pretty sure.
Tom Hardy.
Oh, Tom
Hardy.
I'm thinking of Tom Holland.
Oh, Tom
I'm thinking
Tom
of
Holland is a little
yeah.
boy. He's a
no,
baby
you're
child.
right. You're right. You're
Tom,
right. No,
Tom
you're right.
Hardy was born in 1977, so he would have been like,
He would have been,
He would've been like 25, 26.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
it could have worked.
It could have worked.
yeah.
It could have worked. You're right.
He was like a good Venom though. I like him as Venom.
You see, here's the thing. I
it's
didn't
just a-
hate him as Eddie Brock or anything like that. I
Yeah.
just
The movie itself was
The
not well
movie
done.
is terrible.
The movie's really
okay,
bad.
here's my thing about the Venom movie is that first act is actually kind of interesting because they do introduce some ideas. I'm like, I haven't seen this idea in a comic book movie before. But much like Fan Four Stick, once he gets his powers, it just tanks. It just goes south. And when I
Yeah.
say Fan Four Stick, I mean
Like
the
a turd in the wind.
Oh my god! I still can't believe that once they showed that in the trailer, I was like, I'm gonna hate this.
Yeah, no, because the worst part is when it came out on DVD. That was like all that was showing on like my YouTube ads.
They're trying to
that
advertise
scene.
it as a romantic comedy at some point, weren't they?
Really?
Too? Yeah, I
I
remember they're
didn't
trying
see
to do that.
those.
I remember when they were trying to set it up on Blu-ray DVD. They were trying to be like, let's just advertise this as much as a love story as possible, just to see if we can get the ironic love going.
There was
here.
barely a love story at all in it. Like
Yeah.
I get it. There
Oh
was
no, the love story is between him and the symbiote.
right. Okay.
Bad guy, right? Yep.
It's like I don't know how I feel about it. Like I mean,
Yeah.
there's rumors that now part of this new deal with Sony and Disney is that now Tom Hardy's Venom and Tom Holland can pair up and do a movie together, and I'm kind of like,
I'd be okay with that.
I
Well,
don't
it would,
hate the idea.
it would depend on how they decide to make the movie. Would they go with more of a serious tone to it, or would they go with more like a happy-go-lucky hey,
Disney?
Yeah, like a Disney feel to it.
I have no idea.
Because if they do that, if they do the happy-go-lucky feel, they're going to ruin Venom. But if they go with a serious tone, like Disney will never put Tom Holland in another Spider-Man role
well,
again.
here's my thing, and like.
I'll just do the trilogy and leave it at that.
Yeah, well, here's my thing. It's like I'm okay with the idea. I kind of want Tom Holland's Spider-Man to come into a much darker movie. Like honestly, my dream idea for this now that this whole acquisition is done and like it seems like Marvel is just taking everything that happened in the Netflix shows and just throwing it in the garbage.
Yeah.
I'm totally in favor of an R-rated. It'd have to be R-rated for this, but I want Spider-Man and Charlie Cox's Daredevil to team up and take on the Kingpin, and I would totally love it if Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool shows up as kind of like just a guy who gets in the way, kind of a
Like
thing.
a deuteragonist, yeah. That's what I mean by like smaller scale. Like it's crime within their borough of New York.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
I
As
love that.
opposed to
Well, it's
the
like
universe.
it was
you know?
like how Ant-Man was with San Francisco in the
Yeah.
first movie.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it was just like they're doing a heist within San Francisco to get some parts to make some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Wait. Starting a little up here. Everything is just fine, Mr. Parker, sir, Jennifer told him with a smirk to herself. I have been finalizing everything of the deal between Parker Industries and Ultimax. Harry called from... oh, wait. I already read that sentence. disassociated himself from Norman Osborn.
Yeah, there you go.
Who he had put in charge of the Baxter building after Parker Industries acquired it. Jennifer herself was proud of Peter for taking care of the building, as she had been an auxiliary member of the Fantastic Four herself, motherfucker.
What? What is with all these random ass details? It's not pertinent to the actual story.
That's a big thing.
It's just
I've
like,
noticed in a lot of
he's really proud of Peter for being the building manager.
This honestly,
making sure that the operations are good and the piping is working fine.
To me, this is starting to really feel like this dude wrote this as a spec script. Like legit, like he wrote this and then was like, hey, he wanted to send this to Marvel in order to become a writer for them.
Yeah,
that's what this feels like to me. You know.
I mean, Marvel has yet to do Fantastic Four in the movies, right? So
no, but they just got the rights to them. And
oh god.
And just another sidebar: I am not excited to see the Fantastic Four in an MCU movie. I am just excited because we are finally gonna get. We could potentially finally get
Doctor Doom.
Oh my god, I want a good Doctor Doom. Doctor
Yes.
Doom.
Like
I have a love-hate relationship with Doctor, because on the one hand, every argument you can make for Doctor Doom being a badass villain, legit. He has been a god several times in the comic books, and he has been a malevolent god at that.
He quit being a god because he got bored of it. He was
Right.
just like, I'm done. Whatever.
That
I don't
takes
give a shit.
But here's on the
that's some Rick shit right there.
Yeah.
That's like,
oh my god,
Morty, I'm sick of this. I can't do this anymore.
I'm done, Morty. I'm done.
No.
Doom is done.
Doom is done.
But at the same, that's the other thing that too. Every time, I'm not gonna lie, there are times where I just laugh at Doctor. Like, it's one thing that he talks to about himself in the third person, but he will sometimes just drop the doctor part and only refer to him as Doom.
Okay,
As in he's the personification of the concept of Doom.
That's what makes him so endearing. I'm sorry. What were we gonna say, Alice?
the Fantastic Four is my favorite Marvel anything. I read my dad's like old Fantastic Fours from the 70s when I was a kid, and like every time I would go to the movies, I liked the first one from 2005 when I was like 10, right? And then going back and watching it later, like, this is awful. And then
There's no action in that
so
movie
bad.
at all.
It is so bad.
There's like
how
that-
do they take down Doom? What, they use a fire hydrant and then just wrap around him with freeze dry?
kind of,
That's
yeah.
literally what they do, and then he just gets basically frozen in place.
Doom shall not be victim to such a machination.
Like, there's that, and then there's that scene where it's like the Human Torch discovering he's the Human Torch while he's snowboarding. That's it. Those are the
Well,
only
I mean,
action
like,
set pieces.
let's be real here. Like, Chris Evans is without a doubt Hollywood's best. We're doing a comic book movie adaptation. Get Chris Evans.
Yeah.
Though he was fantastic in Knives Out.
He was.
Yeah.
He was very.
He was
good
the
in
best.
Knives
He was
Out.
one of the better parts of
That-
Knives Out, definitely.
That movie inspired me to start writing a murder mystery. So,
No, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and also
which will be it'll be an episode on this show at some point.
all right,
when
so,
I finally
so we're
finish
gonna
it.
read Atlas Novak's fan fiction.
Oh no! There was a like a few weeks ago we had a guest not show up, so I read one of my shitty like writing assignments from college to Nick
Oh
and
man.
producer Alex, who was here at the time, and it was great. It was a fun time. It wasn't a fan fiction of anything. It was just writing, but yeah.
Anyway, Parker Industries acquires
Auxiliary member of the Fantastic Four.
Right.
Peter also was one having taken over when Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, no commas, had died for a time, and the group became what was known as the Future Foundation.
But I love the relationship, by the way, between Parker and Johnny Storm. It really, like, there are definitely like some issues I've read where like they really dive deep into the bromance between those two. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Because like one of my favorites is like Peter Parker discovers like a new young like 16-year-old superhero, and Johnny's like, you know, he reminds me of me when I was that age. Well, it's official, Johnny. What's that, Pete? I hate him.
Well, I've been busy meeting with S.H.I.E.L.D., showing Miles how to get the hang of being New York Spider-Man and dealing with Zodiac, but everything is just fine as well.
I don't know Zodiac. I'm
Yeah.
assuming he's Marvel's equivalent to Calendar Man.
I would
don't
assume
know
actually
why.
Marvel's equivalent to Kite Man, but that's just me.
I don't know either of these characters.
Kite Man is very much like a throwaway Batman villain. Like, I honestly, some of my favorite villains are throwaway villains, like Stiltman.
Stiltman.
Stiltman's great. Leapfrog.
No, but Calendar Man is literally a villain who just commits crimes based on the day of the year.
Yeah, and then there was also
Okay.
Did you ever read The Long Halloween?
No, I never did.
There was like another villain, like it wasn't Calendar Man, but he was like a similar idea. I can't remember what his name, but
If Zodiac is what you're describing him as, I'm imagining like a basic white girl bitch who like kills Geminis because she's like
Mercury's
Geminis
in retrograde.
Yeah, Mercury's in retrograde.
I was just imagining it was just Ted Cruz, but with like a wrestler mask on, just walking around. That's how I picture it. Just being like, I'm Zodiac, and then he's just mild-mannered Ted Cruz, senator from Texas during day.
And then AOC comes and dunks on him like she always does. That probably
would be
dates
fitting
this
because it is
episode.
New York.
Yeah,
So.
exactly.
Let's see. Peter told her, taking her hands into his, "Do you want to get together after working hours? Go to the gym or something?" Peter asked, and Jennifer laughed at his statement. "It's getting hard to find a gym that has not banned me after accidentally breaking their equipment too many times."
Time out. Does she need to work out? Does she legitimately need to work out? Like, I thought the whole point of her gamma-irradiated bloods was she's jacked 24/7, 365.
If there's a
or 366, we're on a leap year.
if there is, oh, we're recording this on Leap Day. Happy
No,
Leap Day,
oh my God,
everybody.
it's February 29th. Yeah.
If there was a superpower that made me not have to work out ever again and not even be ripped, just be vaguely in shape, I'd take that shit over like super strength any day.
I don't know. I think I'd take flight. Think about how much
No.
money you would save over transport.
Oh,
I
wow, that'd
I
be
take
good.
telekinesis
I would-
because you get flight, super strength, and telekinesis. Out
Right,
of it.
okay.
Lift
Look,
yourself.
I would still always take electromagnetic force because I can fly. I can just propel myself off the ground. I can basically be my own human generator. I don't have to pay the electric bill or shit like that. You know?
Why is your meter running backwards? No fucking reason.
No, it's okay. It's
Nothing to see here.
Yeah. Just get to program it all the time. Get to basically
You would
just
have.
be like,
You would be able to do the best Emperor Palpatine on Halloween ever.
Oh.
Have you guys seen that YouTube video where someone put Kermit the Frog as the Emperor?
oh yeah.
No,
Yeah,
but I
I've seen
must
it. It's
now.
so
I
good.
will.
It's
I
so
will
good.
send
It's
it
so
to
good.
you
I
after the
must
episode's
now.
over. I'll put it in the link for you guys too. But it's just like, good work, Anakin. Now, kill him. Like, unlimited power. Yeah. Okay.
I am the Senate.
Yeah.
I
I am the Senate. The best
Are
part
you
is
threatening me, Master Jedi?
that's exactly what he sounds like. And then the thing where he goes, "It's treason." Then, and like the guy throws the puppet. Because like he doesn't know what to do. He's like, "What if I just threw the puppet?" You know.
Oh man.
Okay.
All right. Are we almost into the end of chapter 1?
Yeah, we're near the end. Jennifer told him, and Peter laughed, wondering what he had done to deserve a girlfriend like Jennifer, who was beautiful, extremely strong, smart, and had a wit that he could appreciate.
I'm a feminist. Suck my dick.
He then asked her to come to his office so they could continue this elsewhere. She then winked at this and walked with him to his office.
Oh.
Walked with him to
Walked
his
with-
office.
And there's a
with-
comma, finally.
Hell yeah, you finally get that punctuation,
Yeah.
buddy.
After locking the door, Peter's answering machine clicked, saying he had several messages, and Peter groaned, deciding to answer them. There was a message from Deadpool asking him to co-star in a future movie with him. Who knows what he was talking about?
Okay, that is legitimately the best joke of the entire thing.
Yes, it
He's
is.
like, please tell me how that's how the chapter ends. Please.
No, there's...
Oh, there's apparently like a fairly recent episode where like Ant-Man's a bouncer at some superhero convention. And he like Deadpool's trying to get in, and he's like Ant-Man's like, your name's not on the list. Try Ryan Reynolds. If he gets to pretend to be me, I get to pretend to be him.
That's great. One of J. Jonah Jameson asking for an exclusive interview. Tables have turned. Tony Stark, who was asking him to have a talk about them now being superhero heads of major companies.
Wait, so
Is that a thing
Wait,
that
so
CEOs
in
do?
this world, everyone knows Peter's Spider-Man.
No, it's just. So when it comes to keeping his identity a secret, somehow he's been with the exception of the Civil War story,
Yeah.
which has been retconned several times at this point. Spider-Man is probably one of the better ones when it comes to keeping a secret identity. It's just the other superheroes know each other.
Yeah.
They know
Okay.
and this is like the one thing I kind of like better about the Marvel universe over the DC universe. And not that I don't like DC at all. It's just you have a much stronger sense of camaraderie amongst the superheroes.
I like
Yes.
DC's villains better.
No,
than...
DC
DC
does
is
have
better-
DC does have better villains overall for the most part.
Yeah.
Because like when it comes to rogues galleries, Spider-Man in the Marvel universe, Spider-Man takes the cake in my opinion.
Why? Because you have your Electro, your Rhino.
You have
your-
well, you just have
Retro-
more.
well,
You have more iconic ones.
Yeah.
You have the goblins.
Goblin,
Doc Ock.
You have Doctor Octopus. You have Carnage. You have Venom.
Kraven the Hunter.
Kraven the Hunter,
Yeah.
who by the way was a joke villain for the longest of time until they did Kraven's Last Hunt, which was phenomenal.
They got the one that they're making right now with the vampire. What's his name?
Morbius. I still haven't seen the trailer for that.
Mysterio.
Mysterio.
Yeah.
Mysterio was another one that I love Mysterio because he's kind of like, I kind of put him in there with like Riddler in the sense that like he can either, depending on the writer and the direction they want to go with, he can either be absolutely terrifying or an utter joke. And no matter what, I love it. So
it's either Jim Carrey or the one in
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah,
Jake Gyllenhaal, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So Jim Carrey played Riddler, not Mysterio.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
we're just looking for personality.
Yeah.
Aunt May, who was wondering about having a family picnic together. Okay. One of the
Okay. So one of my biggest beefs ever about the Spider-Man canon is every time, like, there was a period of time where Aunt May actually knew he was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then they did the whole One More Day story, which we're not getting into that. That story is just utter fucking garbage. Where they retcon him revealing his identity, and then suddenly Aunt May doesn't know shit anymore. I hate that. Like, this is the one thing I like about the MCU's Aunt May, and they kind of hinted at that with the Amazing Spider-Man stories, is that Aunt May knows.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where it's like, look, if he acquired these superpowers when he was like 25 in grad school, maybe I could see him being able to keep that a secret from Aunt May. But when you're a 15-year-old kid, come on.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Have you ever watched Danny Phantom? Either
Yeah,
of you?
I love Danny Phantom.
So
well, the joke of that show was his parents were idiots.
His parents were idiots. His sister knows, but like every time he's like, I gotta go ghost and keep my identity secret. He'll like jump into a pile of leaves and then go ghost and fly out. But like, I like the idea of someone watching him jump into the pile of leaves, be like, is he just chilling out in that pile of leaves or? What's going on back there? Like he went behind those bleachers like 15 minutes ago, and the guy who looks like a pallet
Danny
swap
must have really
version
had to
of
take
him.
a shit.
Yeah,
Man, that hole must be really deep that he dug.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
impressive.
Yeah.
He looked up and was like, where did
But
he go?
like, I know it's Nickelodeon and it's a little bit of a screwball, but just the like keeping your identity secret when you're in high school is like would be impossible.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Or just the kind of thing where like you go into the bathroom to like switch costumes.
Well, it's not like
and
that.
someone be like, "Hey, yo, someone's taking a shit."
Well, here's the
Be
thing.
like, I'm busy, Mom. Don't worry.
Well, I'm masturbating. Wait, shit, no.
Wait, no, that's not the one I want.
Well, I'm just saying, like, what you're saying about like high school and keeping your identity secret. It's like, Mysterio attacks New York City, gotta transform into Spider-Man or whatever. But it's third fucking period. Like, at some point, your gym teacher's gonna call your parents and be like, "Yeah, he's been skipping class a lot." Like,
Yeah. Exactly. There's just be like an edict where you can only be in college or more or older
right.
to be a superhero. 'Cause
Well, even in college, like I knew somebody who got kicked out of college because he wasn't going to classes.
but
so.
you at least like you can stand up and walk out of class. No one's gonna be like, "Where are you going, young man?" Like,
Yeah,
Well, it
it's
depends on
yeah.
depends on the college. I went
No,
to a
the-
small liberal arts college in Vermont.
I went
Don't
to
do that.
I went to
Which
a
one?
UC. They don't
St.
give
Mike's.
a fuck over
St.
Oh,
that.
okay,
Michael's,
okay,
yeah.
No, that.
Don't get me wrong. I had a great time. But it's just
People were stern on that shit.
Yeah.
No, if you go to like a huge like.
Oh,
big
if I went to
university-
University of Rhode Island, I could have done that.
Yeah, no, like I mean,
I
like,
wouldn't have gone to class.
No, when I went to Syracuse, like I was the exact. It was like I could go wherever.
Yeah,
I
we're
wanted.
like-
no one really
Exactly.
gave a shit.
Like you could be a superhero there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. But like like Syracuse, it's like your average class size was like 300 kids or something.
Exactly.
Like
It depended on like the huge lectures. Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I mean, when I was a creative writing major, so I was in a lot of like.
Which explains why we're all unemployed.
Exactly. But it's like it's a little 10-person. It felt like a business meeting most of the time
Right.
because you're just sitting there
There
talking
were like
about
30
writing.
kids in the class. Like,
Not even like.
well,
10.
no, I'm talking about my
yeah.
school. Like my
Oh.
school, it was like I only did this once, and I said never again. Where I woke up and I was like 2 minutes before class started. So long story short is like I ended up being like 10 minutes late for class. After that, I said never again because I got kind of a lecture from my teacher.
That's.
Yeah, no, it's just one of those things where it's like if you show like word to anybody who's thinking about going to college, if you wake up and you have only 5 minutes to get to class,
Just be late.
You're not going to. No, you're not going to class.
Just
You're not
don't.
going.
Just don't.
You're not going.
At that point, just
Just don't go.
Cut your losses. You just lost money that day. That's all
Exactly.
it was.
I had
Your
a
parents lost money that day.
I took a class one time that was at 7:40 in the morning,
Ugh.
and like one day I was like, "Professor, why would you choose this time slot? It's too fucking early." And he goes, "Well, the university either gave me 7:40 a.m. or 7:40 p.m. And I figure the people that show up for 7:40 a.m. want to be here." I was
And
like,
the people that would show up at 7:40 p.m. will be drunk already.
exactly.
But
yeah.
well, you're in college, so you're either drunk or hungover, depending on what time of day it is. Like,
All right.
I'll never forget though when I was in college. I remember my first semester, my freshman year. I had my earliest class was at like probably 1 p.m. It was awesome.
Those are the
Yeah,
best.
That was the best. And then of course like the following 4 semesters, I had 8 a.m.s from like Monday through Friday every single day. It was so.
My
I
very
was
last.
I was just trying to work my way back up.
My very last semester, I had one class that was at like 8 o'clock in the morning or maybe 9 o'clock in the morning, but I had Fridays off.
Oh, that's
That
nice.
was
Those
the
are
best.
great.
Those were great.
Those were the
Those
like,
great
and
days.
like it was the best part too was like second semester. So like up in Vermont, it was ski season. So
Oh,
yeah, I got a lot of.
hit up Okemo all the time.
My school had a deal with Smuggler's Notch.
Oh, okay.
It was like
Smuggler's Notch
it was like $30-$40
Yeah.
for a season.
That's amazing.
Lucky.
Yeah, so and like I didn't snow because like Rhode Island sucks in the wintertime. Yeah. All right, we got to get moving
Yeah.
on.
All right. Let's see. One of the executives he put in charge of the Uncle Ben Foundation saying they needed his signature on a certain piece of paperwork, and one from Nick Fury Jr. of S.H.I.E.L.D. saying they wanted him to contact him
Does
as
he have
soon
his
as
own
possible.
kids network too? Is that what we're going on right here?
That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
We don't have the time to get into that. Long story short is Marvel decided to get rid of the old white guy Nick Fury and replace him with a
Sam
African.
Jackson.
Yeah, Sam
Which is
Jackson's.
better,
Yeah.
I think.
I like it more.
Well, the only reason why Samuel Jackson, so there was the Ultimate Universe, and the only reason why Sam Jackson is Nick Fury in the movies is because they wanted to model him after Samuel Jackson. And
Good.
Sam Jackson's deal was, if you do this, if you copy my likeness, and you make a movie with this character, I get it. Period.
That's
Full
awesome.
stop.
Good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He should have done that.
Yeah.
My biggest beef with like Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. is that the show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not a shitty office comedy just in S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, someone knows Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., my first thought is literally like, hey, did you file the paperwork for the Avengers fight in New York? Is like,
you wanted-
hey, man, Applebee's over lunch. I wanted that shit. I didn't want international espionage and gadgets. Fuck that.
Oh, dude, they're beyond and they're beyond that shit now. They're fucking dealing with space and time travel
Yeah.
now. And like,
No. I want
you
shitty,
get the-
boring office comedy.
so you basically want Archer.
Yes!
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. But
I
even
would've been
Office
fine with
comedy,
it.
but with. I want to write this now. That's
do it.
Oh man.
Yeah. All right. Peter sighed as he told Jennifer he would need to take care of this, and she nodded in understanding. He then touched his webware device, in parentheses, technology made by Parker Industries, on his wrist, and then changed into his Spider-Man suit, and then walked out of the room so that he could contact S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay.
They know who he is.
Yeah.
They literally know who he is. Like, why is he even? I mean, unless this is like a, don't go to the board meeting in jeans and a t-shirt, like kind of a deal. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, nothing like a spandex suit with my insignia on it. What?
I was literally gonna riff off of that too, but you're good.
Oh, okay.
We don't have time. We're almost done with the story.
Even when he is the head of his own company.
no, we're done with the chapter.
Oh God.
Well, I mean, we don't have a lot of time left. We're probably going to have to cut it off there.
I could come back for another episode so we can continue. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, why not? He still gets distracted when his duty as Spider-Man calls. Jennifer said to herself with a smile before walking back to her office. There was no beginning quote in that sentence. Okay, so it goes, contact S.H.I.E.L.D., no beginning quote. Even when he is the head of his own company, he still gets distracted when his duty as Spider-Man calls, end quote.
Okay.
Does that make any sense?
I get.
No,
Yeah.
but
So
don't know.
I think that it was you just forgot the beginning quote.
Anyway,
Yeah, smile before walking
Yeah.
back to your office. But then again, it's what he has to deal with when he is who he is, and I wouldn't want him as anything other than himself, Jennifer said to herself again as she walked back to her office. That's the end of the first chapter.
That's
I mean,
in a way it's kind of cute.
This wasn't. I mean, like,
It's charming.
I mean, like, if we want to go for it beat by beat, it wasn't bad. Like, it's just,
it was a relatively coherent chapter.
It was poorly worded.
it was
Yeah,
poorly worded.
that's all it
Like,
was.
what was the one I said that like rivaled George Lucas writing? What was the line?
You got a strong physique for a woman or something.
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
that.
strong. Yeah,
the
it's
I
like,
hate sand, yeah.
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 Oh my god.
Mhm.
I mean, that chapter that's definitely been one of the tamer ones I've.
I mean, not all of the things on bad rating are like egregiously bad.
Yeah.
They're just mediocre.
Yeah.
Sometimes. It's just how it is.
Well, it sounds like this guy actually like knows and cares about the character of Spider-Man.
Right.
Like more so like
That's not a bad thing.
no,
Yeah.
that's not a
Like,
bad
as
thing
he's
at all.
writing
That's
it,
the
you
point
can-
of fan fiction.
You can tell like he actually knows what he's talking about
Yeah.
in this. Which is good.
because he provides way too much detail.
And he's not throwing in any original characters, which is honestly a nice breath of fresh air compared to some of the stuff I've been with you on that
Right.
on other podcasts.
Okay, wait. So you've been on the Seinfeld one
Been on the Seinfeld.
as the guest. That was just where everyone fucks each other. You've been
Yeah.
on WWE, which was all original characters. You did Breaking Bad with Nick, right? That
Yeah,
was the other one?
the way we ended it was I sang. Jesse Pinkman was playing. Part of This World or something like that on piano, serenading one of the other, like the owner of the chemical plant with Walt. I can't remember her name off the top of my head.
It's not Gus. It's
not Gus. No, it's not
yeah.
Gus. It's like the other couple that like Walt went to college with or something.
Oh, God, I'm blanking on them. Whatever.
Yeah.
Them. Yeah.
But that was just like a bad teleplay. This one was better. This one was actually better comparatively to.
I mean,
other podcasts.
I actually want to come back and at some point if
Yeah.
you guys will have me, and
Yeah.
like I will definitely like to read chapter 2.
Oh, of course. Or just down for like other Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
This whole episode was just us talking about comic books.
It really was,
which is not bad.
Honestly,
No.
it's a refreshing change of pace comparatively to the other episodes I've been on with you guys. It's like we all just got to nerd out over stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that. It's a nice
Yeah.
motif.
So the other chapter of this is called what is it? Oh my God.
Is this basically just Peter just cheats on Jenny with like all the other females from the Marvel universe? Is that what's going on here?
Kiri
Or is he-
Oshiro is the name of the chapter.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it right here, right now. Actually, for a guy who was like a total like introvert, nerd, Peter Parker's gotten some serious tail over the years. Like
Seriously, man, Mary Jane Watson. Oh,
Mhm.
gorgeous. But I mean, Black Canary. Ooh, not Black Canary. Black Widow.
Black Cat.
Black Cat.
Gwen
Gwen
Stacy.
Gwen Stacy.
Gwen Stacy.
Snap.
Who else?
Uh,
Who else?
That's
he
pretty
dated
dark.
Captain Marvel for a moment. Like she actually wanted him, Captain Marvel at one point. Carol Danvers, and I think they went
Yeah,
on like
Pete,
one.
get it.
And then there was, and I think there was also who was she's with Luke Cage. What's his name? Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones. Yeah.
Yeah, she apparently she had a thing for him back in high school or something like that.
Wait, are they the same age? Jessica Jones and Peter?
Yeah, they like she's like. So like her backstory is like she's kind of like retconned into existence pretty
Okay.
much, yeah. But like she has like a history, like she
Wait.
went to the same high school as Peter and everything.
I was nerdy in high school. Where's my secret pining for love from girls? That never happened.
I was a nerd in high school. We're all the hot women that want to be with me.
I'm a feminist, suck my dick.
That just needs to be.
I'm a feminist.
I need to make that a T-shirt or something.
I'm a feminist,
That's-
suck my dick.
I'm a feminist.
That's mine, buddy. Like
You can have it.
I'm a nice guy. Fuck me.
Yeah. I'm a nice guy, TM. All right, Kyle Daley, thank you.
yeah, no,
very
thank you
much
guys
for
very much for having me.
This
yeah.
was really fun.
coming
Yeah,
on.
I had a
Bad
great time,
Reading.
yeah.
We'd love to have you back in the future, either for chapter 2 of this or like other Marvel stuff. Cause
I mean, I want to see
Yeah.
how this story ends. To be quite honest,
because
with you, so
because you said like when I asked you, you were just like Marvel. I was like, that's
that's too vague.
too vague. You gotta like pick someone
Yeah.
and then pick Spider-Man.
I mean, like
So-
yeah, like I'll nerd out about a lot. Of, like I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to bring me back, I could do Darth Vader or something like that. Which, by the way, that
Star
comic book
Wars,
series-
I'm saving for like
Yeah.
far down.
Now,
the
from what I
line.
understand, it's
Yeah.
like Star Wars, Sonic the Hedgehog,
Rick and Morty.
and
Just I originally said Marvel, but like whatever.
I mean,
Harry Potter.
this is the-
That's
oh,
other
yeah,
one
and Harry
I'm saying.
Potter.
Like
Those-
you don't want
those-
to do like a broad sweep of the universe. You want to like focus specifically on
Yeah.
one character.
Yeah,
which I'm
for
which I'm
something like
fine
that.
with.
No, I'm fine with
Yeah.
that too. So in other words, if I were to come back, I can't be like, hey, let's do like DC. It'd be like, no, you have to do Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm down to do Spider-Man Part 2 or something.
I'll definitely
Well,
do this one
yeah.
again. I want to see how
Yeah.
this ends because like I don't know, like just ridiculousness of Spider-Man and everything like that. I mean, I want that Deadpool movie to happen.
Well, yeah. Where can people find you on the internet? Out
You
there?
can find me on both the Instagrams and the tweets. Kyle Daley Comedy. That's KYLEDALEY comedy for both of them.
That'll be down in the notes too.
And just so everybody knows, when is this episode supposed to air? Like you said, like late March.
Yeah, like late March.
Yeah, so I will be having a show at the Dime on Fairfax in Los Angeles on April 12th. So you guys should come by and check that out as well. So
Yeah,
it's free. So come on by.
If you have like an Eventbrite or something, send that to me. I'll put that in there. too.
It's a free show. So
Okay.
yeah.
Perfect.
Whatever's. Dan, how about you? Where can people find
Yeah,
you?
guys, you can find me on Instagram at DanGroveComedy_. It's pretty straightforward Instagram handle, and also you can also catch me on PlayStation Network at Grover Loves 508 if you want to play some Street Fighter or Marvel. Or
I
other
forgot to
shit.
do that the first time when you
Yeah.
I forgot to put that in the show.
Oh,
notes
dude,
the
it's all
first
good.
time.
50 is that the area code?
That's
you're
the
from?
area code. Yeah. It's whenever I enter tournaments, I actually put that as like my quote unquote sponsor. I'm like, 508, Dan the comedian. That's what I go with. So.
You can find me at Atlas Novak on Twitter or Instagram. You can also find this show at Bad Reading Pod, also on Twitter or Instagram. And do me a favor, if you like this show, please leave a review or something on the podcast app you got it on, or if it's on YouTube, leave a comment, leave a like, because when I search Bad Reading Podcast in YouTube, it does not pop up unless I go Bad Reading Podcast Seinfeld, and then that pops up, the first episode.
Oh yeah, and I also have that handle for YouTube as well.
What?
I love
Kyle Daley
Kyle
Comedy.
Daley,
Daily Comedy,
Yeah. Not as much up there as it should be, but it's there.
But yeah, leave a like, tell your friends, all that good stuff, and we will see you next time. Sincerely, your friendly neighborhood readerman. Your bad readerman. Good night, everybody.
Wow.
Bye.
Bye.